Hey, I'm Evan. I work with businesses building, fixing WordPress sites, WooCommerce stores, and online learning platforms, especially with LearnDash. So I'm part of the team at WooNinjas, where we help companies build WordPress sites without budgets getting out of control. So if you're planning on building a WordPress site, or you already have one and you're getting development on it, and the costs are creeping up, or they potentially could be, this video's just for you. WordPress projects do not go over budget because WordPress is expensive. They go over budget because of the decisions made early on, and no one slows down to question them. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how to keep your WordPress project under budget without cutting corners or rebuilding the entire site later. Part 1, why WordPress projects go over budget. So the number one reason why WordPress projects go over budget is pretty much just an unclear scope. This usually sounds like we'll figure it out later, or we can just add one more thing down the line or right now. Everyone's got to know that every additional request, even though you think it's small, adds design time, development time, testing time, and potential long-term maintenance costs. Before any design or development starts, you need to clarify just 3 main things. What is the primary goal for the site? What is actually required to launch? And what can wait until like phase 2 or down the line? If a feature is not directly supporting the main goal of the site, it probably does not need to be in version 1. All right, part 2, write things down and control your own scope. One of the most effective ways to control the budget is to have a written document of what you want done. Just relying on, say, a discovery call and hoping everything gets remembered by the development team usually is a little bit risky, because you need everything on a clear document to prove this is what you want and make it clear and concise. So a written rough scope document by you as the person who wants development work, where you list the features, the ideas, and the priorities. This really does also help with keeping you grounded when new ideas come up in the middle of the project. And this document you create does not need to be telling the developers how to build things. It just clearly defines what exactly you want. A good development team can help break those things that you want into the right phases and give you more control over budget. And this allows the technical team to choose the best approach for your site and for what you actually want. Part 3, start simple and then build in phases. One of the easiest ways to control costs is stop thinking of your site as a one-time build. Instead, treat it as something that launches simple and then improves gradually over time. The best projects launch with a small or a V1 version of the site that still does the job. Usually what this means is fewer templates, fewer automations, and sometimes manual processes at the beginning, but it can be added on to sequentially down the line. So yeah, you can always add this complexity later. Removing complexity after it is already built is usually always a bit more expensive. So this phased approach lets you see what users actually need instead of just guessing up front and doing a big build. All right, part 4, small changes are not always small. Another big source of budget surprises is requesting changes in the middle of a project. Some changes look simple on the surface, but they are more complex behind the scenes. For example, removing language flags from translated pages while using the WPML plugin may sound super easy, right? In reality, this could require custom coding for each individual page that was created, depending on actually how the site is built. So once you go beyond the default plugin options, custom code is usually required, and custom code always takes a little bit longer to build, and it's a little bit harder to maintain in the long run. And this does not mean that changes are bad. It means that changes should be evaluated carefully before assuming they are quick or inexpensive. All right, part 5, tools, plugins, and themes matter more than you actually think. Another big budget killer is choosing the wrong tools early on. Heavy themes, excessive custom code, overlapping plugins make change slower and more expensive. The goal is to use boring, well-supported tools that do one thing well. Good tools reduce development time and make future changes easier than using a million different plugins to solve a bunch of little problems. And this is where the experience of your development team really matters, with which plugin stack they recommend for the project that you specifically want. So let me tell you how we approach this at WooNinjas, and this is the exact area where a lot of projects either stay on budget or they start to spiral with more and more costs. Here at WooNinjas, like we think any good development company should do, we spend a lot of time helping clients make these decisions before the development starts, and that includes tool selection, plugin choice, identifying where custom code is actually necessary. And we've been working with WordPress, WooCommerce, LearnDash for many, many years, actually 10. And in many cases where a short planning or discovery conversation helps avoid rework and unexpected costs later. So if you're interested in learning more, go to wooninjas.com, scroll to the bottom and put in your information here and we'll get right back to you. Okay, part 6, fast feedback saves real money. Another underrated way to stay on budget is how fast feedback from you as the client is handled. When work is built and feedback takes weeks, small changes turn into expensive work. Faster feedback is always better. The most efficient projects work in very short cycles. Something gets built, you review it, adjustments happen before anything can snowball. So seeing the work early on, even if it's not perfect, actually saves money. You are actually correcting the direction as the client before stuff gets locked in. Part 7, plan for ongoing costs and not just the build. A common mistake is budgeting only for this initial build. Owning a WordPress site includes hosting, updates, security, backups, and small fixes over time, custom code monitoring, updating WordPress core, LearnDash core, WooCommerce, a lot of stuff. And ignoring this can lead to emergency fixes later, which you don't want to do. You don't want your site down when you need it most. So because of this, we recommend a maintenance plan, whether it's with us or another company. You can check our site, WooNinjas, go to maintenance, and you can see all the things that we do and the prices down at the bottom. As a final wrap up, to keep your WordPress project under budget, focus on clear scope, written priorities, phased builds, solid tools, and fast feedback. If you want any help planning a project or reviewing decisions before things get a little bit too expensive, you can reach out to us at WooNinjas. As I said earlier, wooninjas.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, put your contact info in there, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. All right, see you in the next video.